Hello friends, and welcome to the Imagine Crafts YouTube channel. Katie here, and today I have this really pretty wedding day card and I'm going to show you how I made it. So some of the products I'm going to be using is the gold Emboss embossing powder, some VersaMark ink, some rose gold Delicata ink. I've got the Shimmer Stix in rose gold also. I've got some eyeshadow brushes, just everyday at the grocery store eyeshadow brushes. A couple different sizes. One's got a really fluffy end. The others are more of like the pencil tipped edge to give you a little bit more focused detailing. I've got the lace leaf stamp and die set from Concord and Ninth. I've got some stamp sets from the Greetery. This one here is the Autumn Sketches. Then I have the Sentiment Sweet in Love and Pretty Postmarks. I've got some hot press watercolor paper. This is the Knit Wit stencil that comes with 3 different knit stencils from the Greetery. And I think that's it. And so we're going to get started. Okay, so first I'm going to take out my Misty and get everything set up. So I'm going to use that watercolor stamp that you see there. And I've got my hot press watercolor paper. I recommend, you could probably get away with cold press too. The Shimmer Stix is going to just sit in those nooks and crannies of the cold pressed watercolor paper. So if you don't want that, I definitely recommend the hot pressed. It's actually one of my preferred watercolor papers for a lot of different things, so it's good to have on hand. And I'm just taking that Shimmer Stix, which you do want to make sure you shake up, get everything mixed well, and then dab that on, and then you're going to apply that, put that over onto the watercolor paper. Now, watercolor paper's best, I think, versus just a regular heavyweight cardstock, simply because there's a fluid, this is kind of a liquidy substance that's in the Shimmer Stix. So it's just going to absorb that moisture a lot better. You're not going to have as much warping or anything like that, or pilling or anything like that. So I definitely recommend some type of mixed media watercolor paper. So here I'm inking this stamp up several times, two times each really, to get a nice solid impression. And if you wanted it to be a little bit lighter, you could just do the one. But you want to make sure when you ink that up and you put it over onto your paper, let it sit for a second. Let that ink and moisture absorb into the paper. That way all of that shimmery goodness is going to get onto your panel. Okay, so now it's all inked up. We're going to set it off to the side to dry. I'm going to take the coordinating die that goes with the lace leaf stamp, die cut that out. I did that on a piece of heavyweight white cardstock because we're going to emboss, use the gold Emboss embossing powder. And then I also cut it out of a piece of oatmeal colored cardstock from Spellbinders. Any type of craft colored cardstock will work fine. And here I'm just inking up our lace leaf onto our panel. I did use an anti-static powder tool, and I do ink this up 3 times. I only showed the one time just to save some time because this is kind of a longer video. But inked it up 3 times to get a nice solid impression, and now I'm going to add on our gold embossing powder. Tap off the excess, and then I'm going to heat set that until it's smooth and melted. And it's so super pretty when it's all nice and shiny. Here, I'll show that to you. Okay, so we're done with that, and now I'm going to take just an X-Acto knife and cut down the center of our leaf. Because this leaf is coordinating to the stamp, if you want to layer like I want to, you have to separate it to be able to have it come off the edge, the outside edge, to make it look like a layering piece. So I ended up just cutting that basically in half, sort of. I kept the top intact, and then I'm adding some on-point glue to the oatmeal layer so that I can get everything lined up. And I just want a little bit of that edge to stick out the side of our leaf. And so now I'm just measuring everything up. I'm taking a little bit more of that cardstock from the tip off that goes up towards the top. And now I'm going to line up and see where I need the on-point glue to go, add a little bit more of that, and then I'm going to layer on our second side of our oatmeal cardstock. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and trim off the little edges just so everything looks seamless and not so open and splayed out. Okay, so we're done with our leaf. We're going to set that off. Now, I thought I was filming when I did the top part of this, but I wasn't. And I actually had a boo-boo. You see me fiddling with this to keep it in place. My magnet wasn't working real great. I really should have put a piece of tape or something on the underside to hold that down, because I did get some double stamping in this corner, which is okay because, and I just left it and went with it. You're going to see it here where it kind of doubles up. I don't like that because it makes it look blurry, but for this, it's like a sketch, so it's okay that it was kind of doubled up. You don't really notice. So I heat set that with the gold embossing powder, and now I'm taking my rose gold Delicata ink and the fluffy end of the eyeshadow brush, and I've got my knit stencil laid over top, and I've got my I'm holding that eyeshadow brush towards the very top of the handle because I want it to be soft. I want the knit pattern to be very subtle. I could have added probably a little bit more ink there, but I was okay with it. It's very soft, very subtle, just to fill in some of that white space in the background. Now I'm taking my shimmer stick, adding a little bit to an acrylic block, and I'm going to just fill in the center and, you know, fan out a little bit on the veins of the leaf, just to take away some of that stark whiteness and add some of that rose gold shimmer stick in there. And I'm using the second eyeshadow brush, the pencil one, because it again will give a little bit more detail. And I'm doing the same with some die stamps. I stamped some of these leaves and little berry things off camera. Heat set those with the gold embossing powder and then fussy cut those out just to give a little bit of interest with the leaf. And here I'm just holding that down with some reversible tweezers, and I have some on-point glue on those to adhere those together. And now I'm adding in a piece of May Arts jute string to do a little bow. And I saw this a couple years ago. Betsy from the Greetery had made something similar with with all of her products. I had a couple of these things, and I thought, you know, this would look really pretty with the shimmer sticks. And we hadn't gotten to fall yet, and being on the design team and stuff, I just thought that this was the perfect time to bring this card out. And so then I used the Chianti in VersaFine Clair to do our sentiment with love on your wedding day, because I needed something to stick out. I didn't want to add more gold embossing powder, and I thought the Chianti would be a nice, pretty red color, Merlot type color, to be able to stand out and go, you know, with the colors on the card. So that's why I picked the Chianti. So tear it tape, double-sided adhesive, added that to the back of my panel. I'm going to adhere that to an oatmeal card base. So again, this is just oatmeal craft cardstock from Spellbinders, and it is a 2 size, a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And now I'm using some on-point glue, and I'm going to adhere this right onto our panel, and that is going to finish up the card. I've got an acrylic block to hold everything down, get everything adhered, but that's going to wrap it up, my friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll catch you in the next video.